Good evening, everybody. I'm Howard. This is Lucky Dice Live. Maybe I should be saying good morning. I don't know where you're watching me from, but in either case, hello, hello, as Edward Shelton would say. I wasn't here last week. I want to start off by talking about that. I just got caught up in life, and just time slipped away with me where I couldn't get the auction started, and I just took the day off. So that's pretty much what happened last week, in case you were wondering why we didn't run an auction last week. Let me get the chat up where I can see it. I thought I had this already fixed, but things moved around on me. Seems to be the story of my life. You fix things and then they move around. All right, and let's see, that's that is YouTube, that's live. This is one thing I hate about not having, one of the things I hate about not having Nate here. I could go on with several things, but one, I like having somebody to talk to. Makes it easier, and two, come on, where's my chat? Just had it, where'd it go? Hang on, guys, hang on, there it is, I see it. Anyway, and I also, yeah, I got it. I also like the fact that he helps do a lot of the things, the technical stuff, while I'm doing whatever I'm doing, so it works up. Hello, DS, how you doing? Hello, DBZ. Good to see you. Hopefully we'll have a few more people join here in a minute. When I don't, that's what I hate about missing last week. Sometimes I feel like when I'm not consistent, that people don't show, and a lot of people come every week, and I just like everybody getting the routine. So let's start off talking about a few things. One, let's talk about the next set coming out, and that we finally got an official date earlier in the week of the release. I think it's really funny. I mean, I told everybody 3 weeks ago that this set was going to be releasing in December. I think that some people still, generally when I say something, actually just about everything I say, when I give you news, is accurate. I mean, if I know something before people, and I'm allowed to say it, I say it. So when I'm not going to tell everybody that something is releasing, and then have to back out of it and say, hey, I thought you said no. Usually, if I tell you that, then it's accurate. I found out because I wanted to get my pre-sales up, and I pressed that hey, I need to know when this is. I need to get my pre-sales up, and I need to be able to tell customers. So what I was given back then was that it would be in December, and I pressed again. I said, well, is that before or after Christmas? And quite honestly, I was hoping it was going to be after Christmas. Now, it's not that I'm not excited about the new set, but I felt like X-Men had not been out really long enough, that we just were getting into that set. And also, I know that the next set, unless they bump it again, is not set till March, I believe. That's that's Venom. So if that's true, then we've got December, January. We got 4 months, pretty much from this release to the next release. So I would have preferred the end of. I actually would have preferred January. I mean, if WizKids would have asked me my opinion, which they kind of did, I would have said that I would have said put it in January, and that would have been better. I didn't ban it, Anthony. This was something I left up to. I'm fine with it either way. I see the pros and cons of it either way. Anthony's asking why Strange Tales banned. Will Speed Force also be banned? There's something coming out that will address Speed Force and all things that are being released in those 2 months while Stakes is going on. And I don't really want to get ahead of it, but from what and again, I didn't decide this. I let my head judge just make the ultimate decision. I actually brought up Strange Tales to him maybe 3 weeks ago, and his answer at that time was, let's wait and see what happens and when the release date is, because we still didn't have the official release date other than it was in in December at that time. And I said, it's going to be coming out possibly during some states, and then I said, whatever you want to decide with is fine with me. And then next thing I know, I see a post going up, and the decision was made, and I support it. I'm not, again, I could have seen it either way. The biggest thing that I like to see is consistency for players across the board. I don't like. I feel like, and I mean, this is WizKids, and this is Rock also. I don't care what you're playing. I mean, we use WizKids rules. We have created some of those rules. We have influenced other rules, especially in the Silver Age. But a lot of the things that you guys are taking for granted came from Rock. For example, the creation of maps being part of your team, and you having 3 maps on your team when you play in official events. That was a creation by Rock. The another creation by Rock, and it was adopted when we came back together. We were never really apart, but when WizKids came back to be our sponsor again, and we partnered up, I sat down with Kenny Pena at that time, and we went over rules, and I said, these are all things we're doing. We threw some out that were ours. We brought some of theirs in. They adopted some of ours. Everything kind of emerged. And the things that merged were the map rule, which we were very big on, and I think that's a very good rule. We think that has made the game better. And Anthony Barnstable's here, and he can remember the old days, and he can remember playing at tournaments where people brought a gazillion maps and they would holler at Fred across the room, Fred, do you have that map that blah, 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 blah? And they would run across the room and get the map. It was just sometimes chaotic. And then sometimes they were pulling out 20 maps, and they were looking at each one at a time and trying to figure out what it is. And, oh, I want that map, but what's that map on? Anyway, it was very chaotic. And also, I think the strategy of picking maps is a good thing for the game, because you build, maps are either, for the most part, maps should be pro your team or anti-opposition. And so adding that in to team building, I think is yes, Anthony's saying he remembers that very much too. Hey, Dennis, I didn't know if you'd be here tonight. Dennis is on vacation with his wife, and he's broke away to speak to us. He probably broke away because he saw Nicole was going to be online, and he wanted to make sure that he was here to say hello to Nicole, which she just popped in also. Anyway, those days were very. The map rule is very good. Another rule that we incorporated was that used to be when you got a bye, you got 0 points. If you got a bye, you would get a win, and it would be 0 points. And I never liked that rule, and I pushed hard for a change. And when we went to Rock, we went half points for whatever the build was. And there is actually another way that I think is maybe fair, but it's more complicated, and that would be to take the average score of each round and that's what you would get. But I think it's as good about as we can get right now. But the change to 150 was something I actually remember sitting down and talking to Norm about it, and he listened and agreed with a lot of my stuff, and it was under consideration. But we went ahead and did it, and then when we went back, kind of merged back together like I was speaking, full build, I think that's a little unfair. I think giving somebody full build is maybe too much. I mean, you got people then that are actually, I mean, a buy, that's too good of a buy. I would go half or I would go taking the average. You know, like if Clay could put in a formula that gave the points for the average winners for that is actually the fairest thing to do, to let the computer decide and let it take an average across the board. But again, that's more work. That's more putting in more things on HC units. And right now, it's the half rule. It's easy. It's easy to program. It's easy to know. It's easy to know whatever you're doing, and it is much better than what it was. Just a 0-point win was too much of a handicap, and I'm thinking a 300-point win, if we're playing 300 points, is maybe too much. So anyway, half is a compromise between the two, and I think that, like I said, again, the fairest way would be to take the average of the winner scores, and that's what you would get. That would be the fairest thing, but that's more stuff to do. Now, we also we've done a lot of things that people don't know about. But one thing that Rock, when at the beginning, when we first started Rock, one of the things that we was wanting to do is have a sense of professionalism, and we wanted to have consistency. We wanted, if you're playing in South Carolina and you flew across country to California, and you were playing in a rock tournament, and you were played rock in South Carolina, that the rules were the same, that the rules weren't different, and and so we've stressed that, and I've stressed that to whiz kids, and so I think the consistency part of it. And so when I brought it up to Aaron, I was bringing up that I wanted, whatever we did, I wanted it to be consistent across the board. I mean, it's hard. Whiz Kids doesn't even know when they're releasing stuff sometimes. So, I mean, ideally, it would be nice to plan a states tournament or events where we could say soundly months ahead that this will be legal, this will not be legal. But it doesn't work that way. And Whiz Kids, they couldn't even tell us. They don't even know. I mean, come on, man. They got Strange Tales in their warehouses, and some of those slipped out, which they weren't supposed to, and then they decided to go ahead and do a release, and they decided December, but we just found out a week and a half, a week before that the release was going to be, and I personally don't like that. I don't like. I think. I just don't like the. I don't like the. I wish it was more consistent. I mean, we're going to compare. Now, mind you, our game's a little bit more complicated, but Magic has a set schedule. Pokemon has a set schedule. Sometimes things happens even with them. We know that, but for the most part, they're very consistent, and they put out a schedule for a whole year of all the releases and the dates and the whole 9 yards, and you know when the pre-releases and the releases and everything are. I wish we had that at HeroClix. But they're just producing cards. They're also more streamlined in the fact that I think they got their system a little bit more down. I don't know who makes the cards. I mean, I know that Bandai is made over in Japan. I don't know where Magic is made. Somebody told me United States. I don't know that for sure. I don't know. Pokemon, I would think, is made overseas. But I don't know. I don't know. But they're more streamlined, and they order in advance, and I think they're ahead of the curve. I think that they're maybe working more sets in advance than what WizKids is, and to get more sets in advance, it takes a extreme amount of effort, and I think that for WizKids to be able to do that, they would have to up the thing. And also, I think that's not that WizKids is like, I mean, not that NICA, or I have no idea what their financial situation is. I think they're sound. I think they have a lot of things they can do, but I don't know that they could. I mean, because what I would do if I was them and I had the money. Now that's the big thing. If I had the money, I would want to order. I would want to have Venom in right now, and what I mean by that is I would want to have Venom tucked away in the warehouses, ready for my next release. And I would always want to have a set in advance so that I could announce times. But let's be honest about that. That's cost, I'm sure, millions of dollars to produce that much product and have it sitting there in the warehouse. And maybe that's a little scary. Maybe they don't have the financial ability to do that. Maybe it's also now you've got to pay the storage space to have it sitting there. I don't know. You know, I'm not them, and I don't know how they plan things. And also, let's also say that HeroClix takes a lot more storage space than Magic cards do. And cards in general. We're in a situation with HeroClix where you got figures and you got cards. But it would be nice to have set. I don't know if they can do it, but I wish they could. But I would love to have set release dates, set release dates for the whole year, and have it a little bit more in concrete. I think planning would be much better for them, much better for us. I think their event planning would be a lot better. Everything from H4H to Worlds to Nationals to Rock to everything, if they were ahead of the game, ahead of the curve. But again, I don't know that they have the financial capability of doing that. I don't know what the risk is. I don't know that if that's not financially advantageous to do that, where it costs more money to keep something that far in advance. So it is what it is, and that's it. But again, consistency is what we were looking for and what I was concerned about when I called Aaron, because I want people to, house rules when you're playing, house rules are not allowed when you're playing in an official event, and they shouldn't be. So when you're going to play in Rock states and you're playing Silver or you're playing Modern, the rules there in Iowa, or well, not Iowa's a bad example, but we'll say South Dakota, it's the same rules as it is as in Texas. And that's what we're looking for. We don't like house rules. Now, there are things subject to change where the judge has, there could be a problem that they realize. Well, the consistency would be playing with the same set and playing with the same figures. Me personally, I like looking at what wins and comparing it to other teams. And then when the teams are changing because of the availability, the comparison kind of gets thrown out. Hey, Aaron. By the way, Aaron just joined in. Aaron, I have your King of New Orleans maps. And in fact, I got something else to show you guys. I got the first set of maps in for the states. And we got the first ones that I got in, the first maps and the first things in all of my orders that are coming in are the tournaments that are happening in December. I said, rush those to me. And also the international orders, because I want to get those out earlier. So this one is the Indiana champion, and you can see that's the map. I think that's the one that Scott Crampton designed. Hope that's coming across really well. Whoop, go up and down to make sure y'all see it. But it's a colorful map. It's very different. I like it. I think it's a nice map. I haven't really studied it enough to know. I can see some things on it right now, but I haven't studied it enough from a strategy point to be able to talk about it. But I know, I've looked at it enough to know that that's definitely a meta map. That's definitely something that you want to have in your arsenal. Now, as far as those maps go, hell no, I didn't eat all the turkey, man. Somebody asked me, did I eat all the turkey? I make extra things so that I love leftovers. I love turkey sandwiches. In fact, my favorite part of Thanksgiving eating is the leftovers, not the day of. I love to eat turkey sandwiches and dressing and cranberry sauce and whatever afterwards. But I'll eat turkey sandwiches for days. And I do the cooking for the most part in my house. So I don't do full turkeys. I do turkey breasts, and because I like to cook those and slice them up just right to put on turkey sandwiches. So anyway, back to where I was saying. I don't even know what the hell I was saying. I was saying something. What was I talking about? It was maps. On maps. The availability of these maps will be at states only right now. So to get this map, now that said, somebody I know may have a few extra maps, and that somebody may be auctioning them off over the next few weeks after state starts. May have one or two or so, and then some little auction that people know about. Just saying that you might want to pay attention, that there may be an opportunity to get a state's map here, because I ordered a few of those just for that. I only believe half that statement, Nicole. If you would have left Dennis out of that, I would have bought that. I would have bought all of it. You know, Nicole saying that I was saying how awesome she and Dennis are, and if she'd left Dennis off that statement, I know that I would have picked up right there. I would have known that that was the truth. Nicole, you can design a map by coming to H4H and bidding up to $5,000 on it, like these maps were. I don't know if you guys know that, but we had two people bid to make this map, and to make the next state map, they bid $5,000 on these maps to be able to make them. All of that money went to H4H. And in fact, Nicole, if you want to give me $5,000 right now, I will skip all the hubbub and just put you right in line for making a state's map. But anyway, the map for the last 2 years has been the highest highest dollar item put up for auction this year and last year. It used to be the Design-A-Clicks, the switch clicks was the highest one, and I decided 2 years ago to go ahead and add a map on there, and I didn't know what the expectation was of it. I wished I would have done it back when we started H4H, because that would have been more money we could have raised. But I only started doing it 2 years, and it's just exploded with how much money people are. I think the map is something that, the switch clicks is something that's personal, and it's something that you can make, and you can make it and put it on something to play and yada yada. And I personally bid. I also made a bid on that switch clicks, and I won it. And it's very, very personal to me. But the map, when you make it, you also can put your personal touch on it, but it actually becomes part of the game. You get to play on it, other people get to play on it, and then you get to go everywhere and say, hey, I made that map, and then some people want you to sign it and yada yada and so on and so forth, and you become legendary in HeroClix lore, and Anthony keeps a record of all of it and reminds everybody that so-and-so made that map, and we know about it for all time. So anyway, so the availability of this map, as I was saying, is only at states and maybe at some little auction. This map will be available again for the next time at H4H. It will be part of the VIF package that we put together. For those of you who do not know what that is, if you attend the event, you pay X number of dollars and you get a map, and you get all this other stuff, con exclusives. It was a great, great, great deal last year. You got a map, you got a bunch of con exclusives, you got to choose some things, and you walked away with a bunch of stuff. This year's VIF package will be similar, but might be a little bit different because I have some plans. I'm tentatively planning on doing a dinner at the. I also thought about it only being available for people that stayed at the hotel. So you might have to be part of the VIF package. You might have to come to the event. You might have to stay at the hotel. You might have to attend, but it also will include a dinner, possibly some con exclusives and a map, yada yada. So anyway, I have not worked all that out yet on paper, but I mean it's just an idea that's in my head. But there will be something, however I make it happen. For those that don't know, I'm going to be working on H for H now a little bit more because I've got states kind of past me, although we got to ship everything out. But I've got states takes a lot of work on my part. You guys just have no idea. I mean, first of all, it's the whole thing going back and forth and getting whiz kids to do what they do and laying it all out and pricing it out. And then it's going to all the states and all the countries. And some cases it's easy. They just contact me immediately and say they want to run it. Other cases it's I got to contact them. Then I've got other people that we network out. Anthony's a good example of that. Anthony contacted some holes where we didn't have states, and I really respect and appreciate the stuff that Anthony does when he does those things. He'll say, hey, there's nothing in South Carolina, and he'll reach out or somebody will talk to him because he's part of a lot of groups. And next thing I know, hey man, you need to talk to somebody in South Carolina. They want to run states. I said, sure, let's do it. And I like that. I like it when the community is concerned about voids or spots in the community that's where it's not happening, and we all work together. And so it takes that, and then after you get everything lined up, then it's getting everybody to make their orders and pay for the kits, and that sometimes is more difficult than you think. A lot of people just immediately pay, and I'm very grateful for those because it makes life easier. But then other people have to say, hey, I can't pay until so-and-so, or I wait till about a week before, and I send out reminders, and then I send out second reminders, and I send out third reminders, and then I'm making phone calls and to prod them along and like, hey man, you got to do this today or else type things. And so it's a lot of work. It's a lot more work than what you think that it is. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it takes up my time. Now you can only have it in one California. Mark is saying we need one in Central California. I rent it in South, Central, and we rent it in Central. We rent it in North. It's been all over California. Texas has the same problem. Florida actually kind of has the same problem because the south part of Florida is way far away from the north part of Florida. So, all the big states are going to have that problem. I mean, to a degree, Pennsylvania's where Nicole is from, has that kind of problem. Pennsylvania's a big state, and it seems like I have the East people fighting the West people. And when I say the East people, I mean as far as you can go in the state and be on the state line, competing with the people that's on the west side of the state to have states. And it makes it difficult. I mean, ideally, you would think, okay, well, why don't you compromise and just put it in the center state? Because what happens is neither one of them then go to the center of the state. Trust me, I've seen this happen. You would think that if you go to the center of the state and then that's the best for everybody. Nope. The western people want to stay over on the west side. The eastern people want to stay on the east side, and yada yada. And it just tends to work out that way. I wished it was different, and I'm not going to run. I've actually talked to whiz kids and I have considered at times putting 2 state championships in the bigger states. We're not going to do that. They're not pro on that, and I don't think I am either. I think there should only be one state championship. And well, I mean, you and DS in New York, you could have a New York City championship, which is a huge population, and then you could have a state championship, which would be outside of that because there's still plenty left. But again, I don't want to go there. We'll just do one a year. The easiest thing to do, no matter whether you're in the north, the south, or the middle, is if you just simply run rock tournaments during the year. Guess what? When it comes to the end of the year, or when it comes up to states, the first thing I look at is, are you doing business with me? Are you running rock tournaments? Okay, so maybe Northern California has this huge venue that's really awesome and everything that everybody loves, but they ain't done jack the whole year. And I've got this other venue that's smaller, but it's in Central California, and it wants to run states. And they both want to run states. But the one in Central California has run 10 winter maps and a qualifier that year. Who do you think is going to get states? It's going to be the one that is participating in rock and that has run the most events. Now, when they're close to being in, if they're both running events, then I have to make a decision. And generally what I like to do is rotate when that happens. But the key is to do the business first. So, I mean, the first thing I'm looking at is, are you doing business with me? The second thing I'm looking at, are you a good venue? Can you handle it? Then I'm looking at location to a degree last, because I'm wanting to make sure that you meet all the other check marks. The other check marks are more important to me. Are you doing business with me? Is the store big enough? Does it have good integrity? Has it run other big events? Can it host? All those things I'm looking at when I choose places. And then also the size of the store, the size of the venue, sometimes is dictated by the state. For example, there are states, we'll use Wyoming. We have had a Wyoming states before, but it's very sparse. And I think that a venue that could hold 16 people in Wyoming is plenty big enough to hold a states. A venue in Texas that can only hold 16, even if you're doing business with me, ain't gonna work. So, I mean, there's a lot of factors that come into play. So those are the things I look at. Brooklyn, yeah, I've been in the Northeast too. I mean, there's a part of the Northeast where you got New Jersey, Maryland, New York, Pennsylvania. They're all pretty tight together. Although sometimes Nicole, when you're 120 miles away in Alabama, it's to some place, I can get there in less than 2 hours generally, because of the interstate. Where if I'm 120 miles in the Northeast, that might be a 4-hour trip because of the roads and the traffic and everything else. Especially, good God, man, Philadelphia, Washington D.C., some of the worst traffic I've seen. Now, New York can be pretty bad too. But anyway, there's lots of considerations that I look at. But the biggest thing is we got all of our locations locked. For those that do not know it, we let everybody choose modern or silver, and 45% of the locations chose silver, and 55% of the locations obviously chose modern. It was actually, it was closer than you think, because at the very end had some of the venues that I thought were going to choose silver didn't. Had they chose modern, had they chose silver, I mean, it was only like 3 venues apart. I mean, if 3 more went silver, then we would have had 1 more, I believe, that I'm doing the math right. I know I looked at it, but it was a 3 venue difference from it being like almost a 50-50 split. So I'm happy about that. Now, I don't know that I'm going to do this again. The next one, I'm not going to probably let everybody choose, but my intentions are to start running 2 a year. So if you don't like modern, skip it, and we'll find somebody else in your state, and or vice versa on silver. But silver has become more and more popular. I think I think that Whiz Kids and I think Aaron has done a really good job at slowly culling that down to where it's a very good format, meaning taking some of the stuff out and making sure that it all works together. And I enjoy playing silver. I didn't think that I would. I was, to tell you how that came about, it wasn't like we created silver. It wasn't that we pitched silver. We were actually approached by Whiz Kids and asked to run another format, and that's how silver occurred. They were looking at silver, and we just kind of grabbed it, and then we said, if we do this, can we? And we threw in some contingencies. First, it was being able to run nationals, and then finally, we were able to get the World Championship silver at the at H4H, and the tournament they run actually at Worlds feeds into our tournament. So I think that's pretty cool, and so and then Aaron works pretty tirelessly on silver and keeping a handle on it. I mean, he does a lot of stuff in trying to make sure that it's right, and he reacts. But again, we are even with that, even with us having a big say so in silver, it still comes from Whiz Kids. So any ideas that we have or thoughts that we have, they lean very heavily on us. But there's some things that we wanted to do or didn't want to do in the past that was vetoed by them. So it isn't like everything that's out there. And there's also some things that they brought in that we really had nothing to do with, rules-wise or legality-wise or whatever. And I mean, because ultimately it's still their game. But we have great influence, and a lot of the stuff that we do, they just rubber stamp, and a lot of the stuff that we do, they don't. So just to give you an idea of what happens and how it happens on silver, ultimately though, when the rules are changed, they blessed it and they publish it and we follow it, and that's how it works. But again, we have extreme amount of input on there, and they do listen to us. They also are interested in building pulp back up again, just so you guys know. I know this for a fact because I was asked who could be an Aaron for pulp, and I made a recommendation, but I don't think that person wants to do it. But they're going to find somebody that does pulp, and I think that they're going to bring that along. I think they still realize that pulp is a viable format. It's kind of funny, but I would have told you 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever somewhere in there, that I like playing pulp more than I did silver. But now I've kind of fallen in love with silver from playing it. Nobody wants you, Anthony. You don't even read what I write. Damn it! You ask me redundant questions because you don't read it, and you're supposed to be the reader. You're supposed to be the guy that reads everything. I'm giving Anthony some shit. Anthony is, I mean, I tell you, I don't know how many of you appreciate or don't appreciate Anthony, but you should. Anthony is definitely very pro HeroClix, and I appreciate the hell out of him, and I appreciate the work that he does. You won't find a judge that works harder in judging a tournament and tries to make the right decisions. I've seen Anthony make mistakes, but not very many, and he's very accessible, and he's very. I think that his caring of the things being right comes across when he is doing things, that he wants to make sure that he's 100% right, and he does his due diligence, and I appreciate him. But I do like to give him shit too, All right, look, you can't top that. You know, I just said good things about Anthony. You can't keep going and saying more good things about him. It's going to go to his head. Everybody loves you, Anthony. So anyway, so we talked about Strange Tales. The other thing that I would say is that I haven't went through Strange Tales except a little bit here, so I'm not going to get into it tonight a whole lot. But I do know that there's quite a bit of meta. I think there's meta in X97. I know. Let me rephrase that statement. There is a lot of meta in X97, and if you don't believe it, you're going to find out when we start playing in states. There also is I believe there's going to be just as much meta in Strange Tales, and I think the mix of the two is going to be very interesting come springtime. And being that Venom is Venom, we'll probably see some meta in there too. So it's going to be very good. I'm excited about it. Now, for those that don't, I made a point on the auction tonight to mention that this was the last X97 auction, because I already have my pre-release stuff is going to be here Monday morning for X97, and then all of my rest of my order, which includes, if you ordered a bundle from me, I will be shipping to you middle of the week, probably Thursday, Friday. I will be shipping out X-Men bundles to the rest of the world. That's to Mexico, the United States, everywhere in the United. Anybody that bought a bundle from me, so you should have your stuff right about release. I buy a lot of HeroClix, and I sell a lot of HeroClix, and because I do that, I generally get my stuff early, and I stay on top of it. I try to stay on top of everything, but I guarantee you that I stay on top of HeroClix and getting stuff on time and getting my orders in and getting the things that I need. And I'm very happy with this set when I'm going to receive it. I'm going to be ahead of the game, and you will be, if you bought your stuff from me, you're going to be getting it just about the time of release. And the bundle was 2 bricks and a retail chase booster and an Origo. So you'll be getting that just about the time it hits your stores in your local area. So I also will be doing something very similar for Venom. I don't know when I'm going to put that up, because I don't know, man. Maybe I'll put it up right away, because they are talking about moving Venom up. I actually want to I'm going to ask somebody I know if that's a possibility. Are they going to stick with their release date? And I don't need an exact release date. I just need a release month. I just need to know that it's coming in March or it's coming in February, because that changes how I do things. It changes how I set pre-orders up. It sets and everything else. I just want to know very close to, as close as you can tell me, as to when this thing is going to release. The problem is, DBZ, is that I can't give you that answer yet. And quite honestly, you don't want that answer yet, because if I gave you a price today, it would be a price based on what it's bringing on eBay right now, which is going to be the highest price that you possibly can get, because people pre-sell those things and they sell them for an outrageous amount of money. When I have my stuff in hand, I will put my sell up. We will have every single figure available for sale here, and then when I see what the market is bringing, then I can give you a price. But if you want me to give you a price right now, it's going to be very, very high. I think you want me to wait. I get plenty of things. I will probably have 10 of every chase. I got you. Just wait. Wait till the prices settle, and then I give you a price. All right. That's information that you got for. Also, I would tell you that let's see, our pre-release is going to be this coming Wednesday. Normally I do those on a Sunday, but this one I'm doing on a Wednesday. Now why, you ask? Because it's only a week from pre-release to release, and I don't like 1 week pre-releases. I like a 2 week pre-release, because 2 weeks to when the set releases feels like it's more special than it does a week. So I didn't want to hold my pre-release on Sunday and my release on Wednesday. So I'm going Wednesday and Wednesday this set. But I prefer it to be 2 weeks, and I prefer to go have a pre-release on a Sunday where I can bring in more people outside of my venue, and then have roughly a week and a half later have a release. I think that's. You may or may not agree with me, but I mean, I think pre-releases should be special. I also am going to pitch WizKids. This is another thing that I've been meaning to pitch them, is I'll ask you this. We get release day promos for release, okay? I think that shouldn't occur. I think that release day should be pre-release day. I think the promos should be on pre-release and not on release. I think release should be our regular organized OP stuff. How do y'all feel about that? I'd like to know. I'd like to hear feedback. To me, the pre-release is more special than the release day. What say you, Dennis? DBC says, yes, that sounds good. What about everybody else? I'd like feedback here, please. Dennis, what are the girls doing, by the way? Chris Gordon says yes. That's good to hear from Chris, because he's a store owner. Yeah, everybody feels that way. That's what everybody's saying that. Everybody would rather, I can't say everybody. Everybody that's here that's saying something is saying they would prefer it that way. That's just me. I just think that it just makes more sense to me. Dennis, you could, I can make that happen for you. I can. I make everything else happen for you when you ask me to, so you know that could happen. Yeah, I agree, McConnell. I mean, I just think 2 weeks, it needs to be 2 weeks. Yeah, Chris says the same thing. He wonders why they don't do it the same way. I don't know who. I know who he is. I'm just messing with him. Well, why don't you tell everybody your real name? That way, if you told everybody your real name, then I could actually say your real name and know that everybody knew what your real name was. Most of these people know you anyway. I know Dennis does. We talk about you all the time. This is one of my Dragon Con mates. I met him years ago at Dragon Con playing HeroClix, and we've talked ever since. Chad's a great guy. He's Chad. I think you're in New York, aren't? Where are you? Where are you at? You're in New York. Is that not right? Oh, you guys are back? I didn't know you guys were back home. I thought you were still on vacation. I told everybody earlier you were on vacation. I thought you took a whole week. So you just went. If you're back, today's Friday. Y'all went. I think, didn't you leave on Saturday or Sunday? And you get back to. Did you get back today? Ohio. Okay. DBZ is Chad. It's the Chad. It's the Chad. He lives in Youngstown. I've been to Youngstown before. Interesting town. Youngstown is very much like a mini Cleveland to me. I don't know. I didn't. I missed that. I thought it was her whole week. So you got back today. That means I can bug you again. Not that you going on vacation kept me from bugging you anyway. Dennis was messaging me the other day, and he says, "Please don't do that. It's just I'm just so stressed out, and everything's just so bad, and I just don't need any problems today." I said, "Cool. Today is a good day to aggravate you," which I didn't, but. I'll stop it, Dennis. I may, Dennis already knows this, I'm very much considering going to Mexico in January. I'm going to visit Dennis. Just coincidentally, States is going on at the same time. And coincidentally, Dennis has got, their family owns another house outside of Mexico City, and it's called in Pueblo, and he says it's just a beautiful place to go, and he wants to take me there, and I've been intrigued with that idea ever since he's told me. So Pueblo is like this. There's 7 states that are going on in Mexico. 2 of them are in Mexico City, but one of them, it's really weird. Mexico City's a state, and then they have another, then Dennis can explain this better, but there's another state that's beside Mexico, and they're both in Mexico City. And anyway, so there's 2 going on there, but that's not the 2 that he wants to go to. He's got one that's a little drive away, and he's wanting us to go to Pueblo and stay there and then drive to that, and I think that'd be a lot of fun. So anyway, there's a good chance that he says it was built, he's telling us about it. It was built in 1674. And I didn't trust him when he told me that we should go there, but his mother's one of the sweetest ladies in the world, and I fell in love with her. And I don't mean I really fell in love with her. Her dad's already given me mean grill me. He says, "Why are you talking to my wife?" Which I'm not. It's nothing like that. I just like her. And anyway, she told me that I needed to go to Pueblo. That it was beautiful there. I think they had just gotten back from Pueblo, staying in Pueblo. And anyway, I would like to go. So I'm tentatively planning on doing that. But I haven't 100%. So what's going to happen is I'm going to roll the dice. So for those that don't know it, I listed, when I went to 19, I forgot to put the 9 behind it apparently. And so we got 2 booster number 1s. So what I'm going to do is there's going to be 2 people that run booster number 1. I'm going to figure something out, and I'm going to say this is booster number 1, and this goes to so-and-so, and then the second one will be booster 19, and you'll get that. That's the only way I can do it. So somebody, by the time I found out about it, it was I can't go into the auction and edit it, especially when somebody's been bidding already, but that's the way we're going to do it. So one of you guys that won booster 1 will be getting booster 19, which is in the second brick. Now you're either gonna thank me for that, or you're gonna hate me for that. I don't know what, because if booster number 1 is really, really, really good, somebody's gonna be cussing that gets booster 19, and vice versa. If it's bad, they're like, "Thank God, man, I didn't get yours." I don't know if I have a coin. I'm in the loft, which is an extension of our store, where we play and we have storage. We have a kitchen. We have a big. We have the studio here. We have on the other side here, I have this huge conference table. Right now, maps are all over it, but we do special events and stuff here, and we use it. It's just an extension of our store, and so that's where I'm at right now. So I don't have any dice here. I don't have anything that I can go grab and roll some dice, because that's exactly what I would do on this. Dennis, you got dice? You have dice in your house? Can you roll when the auction ends? Can you roll dice and tell me? We'll roll dice for each person, and we'll say that the low dice gets booster 1 and the High dice gets booster 6. I mean booster 19. I don't know why I said 6. I want somebody. I want to make it more interesting. Roll some dice. I wished I had, because I could roll it here live. Is there anything? Oh, I know what I can do. We can choose a tarot card. I got it. I know exactly what we would do. Yeah. So this will be. Let's see. If I get the person, I get somebody to choose it. Oh, back home? Where are you? So you're not. Oh, you're not home now. You're not at home. Where are you at? Well, the Chasing Prime is, we've done that in X97 too. Ah, so you're at home with no dice and all your stuff is at the office. I understand. Make sure I don't have dice in here. Well, like I said, I'm gonna do this. This way I can do it live and you guys can tell. So I've got 2 cards here, 2 tarot cards, and one of them is a number 1 and the other one is a number 3. And so when I find out who this is, whoever it is, I'm gonna ask Dennis to pick a card for so-and-so, and then, anyway, I'll figure it out. How much longer we got? Should be getting close. Should be close. I see a bunch of them have ended. So any second, the auction should be ending. And when we do, we'll flip over. Well, that's a good reason to keep dice. Well, that would be awesome. That actually, this same era happened one time, and that resolved it. I mean, that would be awesome if the same. Hey, whoever. Well, it's probably too late to say that now, but you should bid on both of them. Whoever's trying to win those, you should get both number 1s. Yeah, it would, but I don't know if that's occurred or not. Let me see what's going on. Oh, Jay Major's in the house. What's going on, Jay? I don't know if he can hear me or not. Well, unless he's over here, he can't hear me. Yeah, it happens. I can't say that DBZ, I can't say that bothers me that somebody paid more money to me than you did. I'm sorry you didn't win, but I like the more money. Oh, you think Jay? Yeah, Jay, that would be awesome. That would solve the problem. If he got both of them, then I don't have to do any shenanigans. He's just gonna get both of them. All right, auction ended. Let's look at results and we can find out. All right, so hold on. Jay Major got booster number 1. Nope, we got 2 different people. I got Indolent Shirker with booster number 1 and Jay Major with booster number 1. So I'm just going to make this easy. Because anybody watching, Indolent Shirker, you have booster number 1. Jay Major, you have booster number 19. There, it's resolved. Yeah, he does, but in this particular case, he did not. He had somebody else. So Indolent Shirker, you have booster number 1. Jay Major, you have booster number 19. With that being said, it's auction time. We need to open up some stuff. I'm gonna put the bounty out first. we will add in the alternate card. We will add in some of these tarot cards I was looking at. So I got a 5 of Swords. We're throwing in an Iron Man marquee. I've got a Cannonball from Deadpool X-Force. I've got a She-Hulk from Secret Wars Battle World. I've got a Prime Beast Boy from Teen Titans. I've got, looks like Teen Titans also. Yep, Harvest from Teen Titans, super rare. Got a Tachyon from Slosh, Superboy Legions of Superheroes, or whatever it was. All right, then we got War Machine from Hammer of Thor. Got some older stuff in today. I got to get some more stuff out here, and then I'm going to throw in a. If you notice, I'm throwing in a bunch of a little bit more than I normally do. So I got another Prime. It's Dr. Minerva, and she's from Guardians of the Galaxy. And one more. This one is going to be a Ron Vider from War of Light. Now, the other thing I want to tell you is we'll be doing Strange Tales next week. We'll be doing it on Friday night. The following Wednesday, we'll be doing our single sales. That Friday, we will be doing another auction. We'll be doing Strange Tales. Christmas, if I'm right, is on a Wednesday. Let's see. Christmas is on a Wednesday. Thursday. Christmas is on a Thursday. So the 26th, we will be doing an auction on the 26th, the day after Christmas. It will be a special auction. I'll start to advertise this as we get closer, but I'll have a spin the wheel, and everybody that wins the boosters will have a chance at winning con exclusives, rock maps, dice, numerous things. So we will have that up for you guys on the 26th. So be looking forward to that. Get some Christmas money on the 25th. Join me live on Wednesday night, and I don't know. I'm gonna have some. It's gonna be good. You guys are gonna be excited. We're gonna give away some stuff. All right, let's open up this brick. Dennis is starting to. His memories are what if memories now. That reminds me, I could have done this. Y'all can go ahead and start naming the super rare for the bounty figure. I need 2 nominations. Well, you can use your 26 for Christmas. That's the one I want. All right, so we got an Emma, and we got a Professor X so far. We got a Rogue. Emma, Rogue, Professor X. We got 2 Rogues? Yep, Rogue. Rogue it is. There we go. It is set in stone. Rogue will be our super rare. I'm going to mix some of these up a little bit. Y'all believe it's like just that this year's almost over? Is that not just incredible? It's incredible to me. 11/28. Yeah, I say, man, yesterday was to me a little bit weird because normally just even days that we're not even the store, if we're not open, I'm always doing something, some kind of work at the store every day. And I think yesterday was the first day. And I know that's actually not true either because I actually ended up doing some work last night. When I got everything was done, I went and sent out offers on eBay to people. So technically, I guess even on Thanksgiving, I did something, but not much. Usually I do a lot more than that. All right, so good luck, everybody. Again, Indolent Striker, this is your booster. This is number 1. J Madger's getting number 19. The figure that we're looking for is going to be Rogue, which I like all the Rogues. I think Rogues are awesome. I would have loved to had. I'm playing with the Rogue Common, and the Rogue Common is really, really good. All the Rogues are good. All right, so booster number 1. Let's see what goes on here. All right. We got a Forge Rare. We got a Friend of Humanity Common, a Cyclops Common, a Friend of Humanity Uncommon, and a Wolverine Common. So we're off and running. Booster number 1. We are looking for a Rogue to win the bounty. All right. Booster number 2. We got Dino Man Uncommon. We got Executioner Rare. We got Prime Sentinel Common. We got Beast Common. And we got a Wolverine Common. Nothing special yet. Not that there's anything wrong with these guys. Executioner's kind of fun to play with. I've had some pretty good luck with him in some of the boosters. Some of the sealed battle royals and sealed events. Well, if it was screaming for you, Nicole, we all got to listen, and I think that's hilarious. It was screaming for Nicole. When Nicole says something is screaming, we have learned to listen to her. So I have booster number 3. Who has booster number 3? Let's see if I can see here. Booster number. Who has booster number 3, please? I'm looking. It's not showing me everything here. I'm going to have to go back and look at the sales. I'd really need to know who has booster number 3. Let me go look at the sales. Booster number 3. There it is. Indolent Striker. Congrats. Indolent Striker's got it. He also had booster number 1. So you're going to be happy that you got it. Let me get back out of here. There we go. To go back to the chat. There. All right. So Indolent Striker is our winner of booster number 3. And you got a Sentinel Technician Common, a Wolverine Uncommon, and you have a Storm Uncommon, a Jubilee Common, and a Screaming Rogue Super Rare. So the bounty has been won. Indolent Striker won it. Yeah, I'm going to throw that right there. Indolent Striker. If you can hear me, which I think you can because I see you talking and you got clarifications, but if you can let me know, do you want me to open up your alternate card? I need to know that answer. If not, then I'm just going to leave it in there and we'll pack it up. For right now, I'm going to put it to the side. And we're going to go on to booster number 4. And if you tell me to open it up, I will open it. So booster number 4. Always, and we have found out, those of us that have been here every week, or most of the time, Dennis is one of them, and me, and other people, that when Nicole picks when she picks the bounty figure, that's usually what it is. She's right, probably right about, I'd say about a 90%. She's been wrong a few times, not very many, but 90% or better the time she picks, and that's what it is. It would, if she could pick that well on everything, I would be driving to get her right now, and we would be going to Vegas. Or we could just go to Atlantic City. I guess that would be closer, but we would be going somewhere, and I would be telling her to pick numbers, pick stuff, yes or no, and I would come back home a millionaire. She's really picks these things well. All right, so back to where we were at. Booster number 4, Nightcrawler rare, Morph uncommon, Magneto uncommon, Rogue common, and a Gambit 005 common. Oh, come on, booster. Doesn't want, there we go. Booster number 5. It's in New Jersey. I don't know about Westland, but Atlantic City is in New Jersey on the tip of it. I've been there. It's pretty nice. I don't think it's what it once was, but it's got casinos and stuff there. All right, so I've got a Prime Sentinel common, Executioner rare. We have a Dino Man uncommon, and we have a Magneto common, and we have a super rare Cyclops. So that's our second super rare in this set. And the brick. All right, number 6. Number 6. All right, we have our first. We have our first card. We have our first. Damn it, my mind's going. Our first one shot. All right. We have Sinister Science. We have Bishop rare. We have Dr. Valerie Cooper common, Jubilee common, Magneto uncommon, and Friend of Humanity common. Dennis, doesn't Mexico, I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. I think Mexico has Thanksgiving, but just a different date. Is that true? Am I right? Okay. Got another good brick. Another good booster. Yeah, they're not as busy as they used to be. That's kind of attractive and kind of not, I guess. All right, so I got a Beast common, a Gambit common 013, a Prime Sentinel common, a Bishop, come back to that, Madeline Pryor uncommon, and we have a Bishop Prime, a rare Prime. So that's our first Prime of the night. I know some countries did. I was talking to Houston about this the other day. Honestly, it doesn't have to be our Thanksgiving, our date and everything like that. It's a United States holiday, but I think that Thanksgiving should be made, there should be a world holiday. Some people would say you already got Christmas, but no, you don't, because there's a lot of countries, a lot of religions that don't have anything to do with Christmas. And but all of us, the whole world, should give thanks. And we should have a worldwide Thanksgiving holiday. Again, it doesn't have to be United States holiday, but there should be a day and date, and we should have a worldwide Thanksgiving holiday, because that Thanksgiving fits all cultures, all religions, everything. And there's no reason why anybody shouldn't have a Thanksgiving. Then we all get lots of food, so that'd be good. All right, so booster number 8. Man, I wouldn't mind pulling this. That's pretty good stuff in here. I got a Wolverine rare, got a Madeline Pryor uncommon, a Cyclops common, a Magneto common, and a Jean Grey common. We give thanks, and it's surrounded by the pilgrims, and they supposedly had the very first Thanksgiving, and it's a tradition that we fall back to there, and that's why it's an American holiday. But I don't think giving thanks should have to be religious at all. I don't think it has to be just us, I guess is what I'm trying to say. All right, somebody's going to be happy here. This is the first big one. So who's got booster number 9? Who's got 9? Okay. All right, I'll open your alternate card. I'll do it at the end of this break. So we're doing, we got booster number 9. I don't know, let me see if I can just do a quick look to see who's got that. If I can see it. 15, 23, 8, 1, 1. Darn it, I was hoping I didn't have to go back and look at the cells. If you got booster 9, just tell me. I'm just gonna call it out. You're gonna be happy though. You got a Wolverine uncommon, a Bolivar Trask uncommon, Valerie Cooper common, Gambit common, and you got the Chase. You got Magneto, which is one of the best ones you could get. Number 10. All right, I've got a common Gambit, a common Beast, a uncommon Storm, a Bastion Rare, and a Sentinel Technician common. Number 11. Well, I think that should be, I mean, we have turkey and dressing and ham and all that stuff and I think that's fine, but I think every culture, I think they should decide what they want. I mean, I think Thanksgiving should be what everybody wants wherever you're at. I mean, I just think I just think the whole world should celebrate Thanksgiving on a given day. And then as far as what everybody eats, it doesn't have to be the same thing worldwide. It can be whatever anybody wants. Yeah, this is a good brick. This is a very good brick. So somebody's going to be happy here too. I've got a common Friend of Humanity. I've got this one is number 11. Sentinel Technician common, Dino Man uncommon, Prime Sentinel uncommon, and we have a second Prime. This one is the super rare Prime, and it's Cable. So I mean, if we did away with, say, Thanksgiving, the traditional Thanksgiving day or whatever, but whatever day we chose as a world, I think we can still do what we always do and do the turkey and all the stuff that we do here. But I think that, other cultures, they don't really have turkey. They don't have some of the stuff in some parts of the world. And I think that's fine. I think that every country, you fix what you want. Just it's more about getting together and giving thanks and then having a feast while doing so. And the feast can be whatever. It can be pizza if you want it to be pizza. But the point is we all get together and we give thanks for what we have. And I know things sometimes are even dire, but usually all of us can find something to be thankful for, if nothing else, just being alive sometimes. All right, so this has been a really good brick. We have a Jean Grey common. This is number 12, the last one. Bolivar Trask uncommon, Leech common, Prime Sentinel uncommon, and we have another super rare. We have Professor X. Yeah, that's me. You sound pretty much like the stuff that I like. That's all good. We don't do the flan. I like flan okay, but that's not something that we typically do here. We're pecan pie, sweet potato pie, pumpkin pie. That's generally what you see here. It's pretty traditional. Those desserts are pretty traditional in the South. Now, some people mention ambrosia, which I don't know if you've had ambrosia before. I like ambrosia. I'm not a big fan of ambrosia, but it's okay. Oh, I got to open up this alternate card. All right, so let me open this up for alternate striker. Insolent striker, I'm sorry. You have Cyclops. So Cyclops is your card. And we'll put this one there. I'm gonna go ahead and do this a little differently, not a lot differently, but I'm gonna go ahead and lay the boosters out, then add stuff to the bounty. Plastic is fighting me, but I'm winning. All right, number 13. I just went ahead and marked that one as being J's, so there was no confusion. Otherwise, my daughter would be calling me when she's doing this. What's going on? You didn't do number one. But what am I supposed to do? Three, last one. Let me get some figures. You guys started naming figures yet? Yep, you have. So, all right, it's Emma. That was Emma. It is. Nicole, is Emma screaming to you? That's what we want to know. All right, so I got a Slosh Tellus. I've got a Lee Kung the Thunderer. That was from AVX. I've got, this is a good one. I got a Speed Demon. Speed Demon came from Deadpool, right? Yep, Deadpool. And now here's another Deadpool. I've got a T-Rex. T-Ray, I'm sorry. Then another Deadpool. This guy was meta at one time, back when the rules were a little bit different. Deadpool, we got Bill, Agent of AIM. Then I've got a, this is from Mutations of Monsters. The cards, when you get this, you'll feel the cards when they made them back then were a lot different. And it's an Iron Man. One more. This looks like it's from Invincible Iron Man, Count Nefaria. Throw that in there, and then let's reach over here and let's do a team up card. I've got an Aquaman from JLU and a tarot card. We'll do the Emperor. All right, so we're now set to go. And we are picking, we're looking for Emma. Emma is our bounty figure. I did read your message. You said you didn't have it, and you have, but you have something like that on another day. I read that. All right, number 13. I even talked about it. All right, number 13, bounty is Emma. We're off and moving and ignoring Dennis. And just, that's what we're doing. All right, we got a Gambit, common 005. I've got a Friend of Humanity, common, a Dr. Valerie Cooper, common, a Morph, uncommon, and a Forge rare. That was number 13. Number 14. Number 14. I've seen this booster before. It's not bad. Got a Magneto uncommon, a Sentinel Technician common, a Leech common, a Phoenix rare, and a Magneto common. Usually when I say that it's a decent booster, I'm not usually talking value-wise most of the time. I'm usually talking about play-wise. So that would be a good booster to pull in something. Oh, yeah, I saw that. I did see that. But I mean, that would be like saying it's celebrated by, the reason I ignored that comment is because it's like saying that Americans in Germany celebrate Thanksgiving, which they do. I mean, Americans, Canadians, wherever they're at in the world, still celebrate that holiday. So you really told us nothing, even though you thought you were being very informative. All right, we got Gambit 05, Friend of Humanity, common, and we got Dr. Valerie Cooper, common. We got a Friend of Humanity, uncommon, and a Nightcrawler rare. I really wish Dennis was here. I wish that he and I did a show every week together. That's really what I wish. I think we'd have a very good show. I think that we would grow a big audience. That's what I think. All right. All right, Nicole. Damn it. All right. We got a Phoenix. Who's got this booster? It's number 16. Whoever's got 16, let me see if I see real quick. If you got 16, holler out at me. Oh, there it is. Jasperado's got it. Jasperado, you got Phoenix Rare, Jubilee Common, Madeline Pryor Uncommon, Signal Technician Common, and you got the Emma Frost that we were just talking about. That wasn't screaming, but she was whispering, and Nicole heard her. So you got the bounty. I think you typically do not have me open up the alternate cards, so I'm not going to open this up unless you message me and tell me otherwise. No, you thought about doing a free special rock state free podcast for the event for the age. I wouldn't. That would require me going and do. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. Let's just leave it at that. No, Nicole called it. I didn't see you say anything. I only listen to Nicole in such matters. If Nicole said Emma, it doesn't matter what you said. We're going with what Nicole says. But see that's okay. If she's supporting you, she's still saying that's the way to go. That's what counts. That's all that matters. Whatever she says is what counts. All right, we're going to booster number 17. So we hit our bounty in both bricks. Man, do you remember which set was it? The set before this? It seemed like we were never hitting the bounties. It was like we would go 2 or 3 bricks. X97, it seems like we hit the bounties like every week, and generally sometimes twice a week. All right, so we got Storm Uncommon, Captain America Rare. We have a Gambit 013 Common, Friend of Humanity Common, and a Marvel Girl Super Rare. Masters of Time, yeah, that was a hard. We went weeks on Masters of Time. All right, so I got number 18. Okay, somebody here's going to be happy. Too bad that wasn't 19. That'd make J Major happy. But anyway, it's number 18. And we got a Magneto Common, a Beast Common, a Madeline Pryor Uncommon, Magneto Uncommon, and whoever has got 18, you have the Chase Cyclops. Let's see if I see who that is. See if that shows up here. Doesn't show up here. I'm not going to go back and look at the big sales report. But yeah, that's whoever's got that, congrats. Number 18. Speak out if you hear me. Let us all know that you got it. Number 19. This is the other number 1. I think 19 was the better pull. So we got a Leech Common, a Jean Grey Common, a Dino Man Uncommon, a Magneto Uncommon, and a Magneto Super Rare. So the 19 was the better number 1. And we got number 20. Number 20, we got Jean Grey, common, Cyclops, common, Wolverine, common, Morph, uncommon, and Storm, super rare. Storm's not bad. Honestly, this Morph is not bad either. Long dial with weird stuff. It's a long dial. Long dial for 50 points. Shape, change, plasticity, and then he gets to pick whichever thing he wants. He can be very annoying. All right, number 21. We have a Prime Sentinel common, a Jubilee common, a Prime Sentinel uncommon, a Callisto rare, and a Wolverine common. Mark got it? Cool. Mark got 18. All right, so now we're going to number 22. Congratulations, Mark. '22, we have a Cyclops common, Gambit, 013 common, a Leech common, a Wolverine uncommon, and Executioner rare. I wish Executioner's power that he's got, that's on the end of the dial, was at the beginning of the dial. He would really be good then. He's decent, but he would be really good if that power was earlier rather than later. All right, so now we're on to number 23. We have a Wolverine rare, a Storm uncommon, a Rogue common, a Jubilee B common, and a Wolverine common. One more booster. Then I'm gonna get out of here and go fix a turkey sandwich. I started talking about it. I ate earlier today, so I didn't really eat supper. I ate like midday, like 2 o'clock or something like that. So I hadn't really been hungry, but got a little bit of appetite starting now. All right, last booster of the night, guys. I think brick number 1 was better than brick number 2, but brick number 2 was okay. We got a Gambit common, a Rogue common, a Gambit common, 013. So we got both Gambits. We got the 005 and the 013 commons. And we got Bolivar Trask uncommon, a Bastion rare, and then we have the one-shot Sinister Science. All right, guys, congrats to all the winners. Hope everybody had a good time. Had good conversations tonight, I think, anyway, so I enjoyed it. I'm glad Dennis got on. Buddy, I miss you. I can't wait to see you again. We need to, now that you're home, we'll talk over the weekend. And I don't know that we picked a day for our meeting next week. I don't know. I told you set 2 hours aside so we could do some stuff. And I don't know if you ever give me a day. I know you may have. I just don't remember. So anyway, we'll talk about that. But I'm definitely going to be talking to you Saturday or Sunday. All right, guys, y'all have a good weekend. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I'm going to spend the rest of the weekend watching some football, probably eating some turkey sandwiches, doing a few little odds and ends and stuff like that. Okay, Thursday sounds good. Thanks everybody for bidding, and you guys have a good weekend. Good night. Remember, next week is we're switching to Strange Tales, so it's going to be a big night. Y'all have a good one. Good night, everybody.